Okay, class, this is the final video for SCCM. I was waiting for these updates to show up and I finally got some updates to work with. So I'm going to go through and just do some different update deployments and show you some more settings for the update server. So I have a bunch of updates now, and if I wanted to, the last time we did automatic deployment rules. So what I'm going to do is create a manual deployment rule. So let's just say I take one update for project and I can deploy it. Shows me the information. I can deploy it to a certain collection. In this case, I'm going to do all systems. Click next. Accept the license agreement. It's going to be a required. What kind of message it's going to give me. When to apply it. Specify a specific deadline. At this point, it's definitely going to install it by this date. It's going to go by the client's time, not the SCCM server's time. Uh, it's going to display in the software center and show all notifications or hide it altogether. Install the update, restart the system if necessary, suppress the restarts on the server. Um, Stuff that we had in the last deployment we did. I'm not going to go through each little setting. Um, Generated an alert. Again, I don't want to generate an alert on 35 different um, computers for each update. It'll just fill up my log files too quickly. Um, I don't have Operation Manager, so I'm not worried about that. Uh, what happens if they're outside of this? Let me read this. What if they're outside their boundary group? What do we want to do? We're not going to install it. We're going to let them get back in our boundary group before they install it. Um, what happens if it's not available on any distribution point? Download it from the default boundary group. I'm going to allow clients to share the updates um, from the network. I'm not going to allow them to download from the Microsoft Update Server. Give it a name. Um, I'm just going to call it Update 1. But normally I would use the package name. Where do we want to put that at? Our SCCM server, our source files directory. Underneath that, we have I didn't make this on my setup. I only made it on the SCCM. So I'm gonna just do updates, and underneath that, I'll create one for manual and automatic updates. The source files is shared, so we should be able to get to it from there. So updates, manual. That's where it's going to store it to send it to the distribution point. Choose our distribution point. I'm going to press cancel because this is taking too long. I'm going to pause this while this is trying to open up. Okay, it showed up. So I'm going to select our distribution point. Where do we want to download it, from the internet, or if I have a server that already has the updates on it, like a file share that I preloaded, I can grab them from there. I'm only going to do English. Okay, I'm going to pause it while it's working on this. Okay, it's done, so I'm going to close that. Now, if I did that for every single update, it would take me forever. So in reality, your best solution is this automatic deployment. But I'm going to show you another solution. So I'm going to go up to all software updates. If you want to, you can group a bunch of updates together. So let me just grab a few updates, create a software update group. I'm just going to call it group 1 for lack of a better name. Create. Okay, so once you have that update group created, I don't know why it's listed here twice. It really should only be listed once. I'm going to pause this for a few minutes. Okay, I don't know why there's two groups here, so I'm just going to delete one of them. Okay, I'm not sure why two groups showed up, but now that I have this group and I have a bunch of members under it, the members are the actual updates. My machine is running really slow. A bunch of these are part of my group. So I can right click and deploy that group. It shows the date. I'm going to copy this name. I'm going to deploy it to all systems. And I'm just going to go through and do all the same settings I've done with the others. Again, if you're using this wake on LAN, it will wake up laptops while they're closed in a case. You need to be careful with that. as soon as possible, specify a deadline date, suppress updates on servers. I can specify an existing package, or I could create a new one. I'm going to create a new one. Put it in that same folder. And this is still going to be manual. I guess it doesn't want me to put it in the same folder as the other one. So I'm just going to use an existing deployment package, the one I did for update 1. Just kind of put it in that existing deployment. We're going to get this offer from the internet because remember, I don't actually have the updates yet. So my machine will download it and then at that point send it to the distribution point. For English, next. Okay. Okay. Sorry, someone just came to the door. But I'm going to pause this and come back to it and then talk some more. Okay, so that's done. So now I actually have a deployment. I've upgraded this deployment package to include that software update group. My system is still running really slow. So there's my group. I have a bunch of software updates all grouped together, and I grouped all of those updates into one deployment package. Again, it's still probably better to do an automatic deployment rule for most of your software because most of your patches, because if you had to do this for every single patch, it would take you forever just to maintain this one server. Now, some other things I wanted to point out before I end this video. So what happens if you want to make a change to your WSUS settings? You don't go to WSUS. There's no options in here chosen. Everything is blank here. It's all done through the SCCM console. My SCCM is still downloading a bunch of updates. So back to the SCCM console, I'm going to go to Administration, Sites, and Configure Site Components. Go to Software Update Point. So if you wanted to make any changes to that initial wizard that you did, you can go here. Guys, I actually changed this so I can sync from our internal server just because it was taking me forever to get anything from Microsoft. So I changed it to sync to our internal server. Anything that you did in that initial wizard, you can change here. If you wanted to stop getting updates for Windows 8, you can come here and unselect it. You can change the sync cycle to every 1 day. If you don't want to expire superseded updates, you can uncheck it here. If you wanted to add an additional language, you can change that here. The other thing I wanted to show you is if we go to monitoring and we wanted to see reports about our updates, see where they fell so we can now help diagnose it. If I go and try to create a report, it can't do it because I don't have the reporting service installed. So if you want to play around with these reports, go to Administration, server and site system roles and add that role. We want to do the reporting services point, verify our database name, choose our user account where we're going to communicate with the database. Close. So now if you go to monitoring, okay, I'm going to pause this video again. Okay, the reports finally showed up. So guys, there's a lot of predefined reports here that you just kind of highlight and run that report. I'm not going to open up this can of worms, but you know, you would just find the ones for the software update and run those reports to try to diagnose issues that you have. Um, I haven't really played with this, but there should be a lot of good reports here. You click it, run, and then the reports should show up. You might get data, you might not, because I don't really have a lot of clients here. So in this one, I didn't get any data. Oh, maybe I didn't. So then you just look at the report, try to figure out what the issue is. So I'm going to run it against this computer. So it's not really giving me any feedback because again, I don't really have a lot of software installed on this computer. I don't really have a lot of clients. But play around with this, guys. This is kind of important for you to understand. So it's just going to take you some time to get familiar with it. And the last thing I want to show you is under administration and the client settings. Go into properties for the client settings. This machine is really, really slow. And you have this software update section. And you can make some changes about how your client gets the updates. If you want, you can change it to 1 day. Every day, go and sync and get the updates. You can decide if you want to, when there's a deadline reached, do you want to install any additional software at the same time, anything that's pending? You can do that as well. More stuff for Office 365, which I've never played with. So there's a lot of things you can change in here as well. Under software library, when you look at your updates, you can see whether it's deployed or not. You can see whether it's actually downloaded onto the SCCM server. I'm going to pause again. Okay, so here's one update that's been deployed. It's not downloaded yet. It's not installed on any machine. I don't have enough clients reporting back that this is a required update, so it's not going to actually install on any machines because it's not required by any machine yet. So over time, as you get more clients on here, it's going to show required. If it's required, then it'll actually download the software. It won't download it until it's actually required. Right now, I'm just looking at data from my catalog. So just a kind of a recap, we did 3 different types of deployments. We did the automatic deployment, an individual deployment of one individual patch, and then we grouped a bunch of patches together and did a deployment there. There's our group. Now, I also showed you how to go into administration, how to go to sites, and change your software update point. I also showed you how to get to reporting after you install the role. Again, I'm not going to wait for this to pull up. This machine is running really slow. And the last thing I showed you was how to change your client settings. Again, I'm not going to wait for that to pull up. But okay, guys, this is the last video. Guys, I need to grade everything by Thursday. So either send me an email to grade it to ACE-IT or let me know when you can come in. Guys, I will be here on Thursday night if you need me to come in. I'm going to try to get everything graded Thursday night so we can begin the break as of Friday. Other than that, I can grade it online. Just let me know that you're ready to be graded. I know some people are still working on week 4 and 5. Guys, if you don't finish by Thursday, still let me know so I can grade it. You're not going to get a perfect 100, but you're not going to fail the class if you're not complete with all the labs. Just let me know where you're at. Okay, that's it for this video, and I will see you after spring break.